This is the spot where I was shot at 2.5 years old.
I stay on it, I be going off. Big brain, know it all. Never follow protocol, a poet flowing motor off.
So my dad is U-God from the Wu-Tang Clan, one of the founding members.
Olympic torch flaming, we burn so sweet. The thrill of victory, the agony defeat.
Romance with my dad face on. Found a path, aftermath, after blasting 8 songs. It's a crack.
We used to call him our little genius.
Music penetrating the races, all the ages. And watch me just erase all the races from my spaceship.
It seemed like he was here before. You know how they say, they seem like they were here before because of the things that they know that they shouldn't know at their age.
This is my life story. It would just shock you how I got through getting shot through my own body, or playing a sport would be changing my walk.
I was always protective over him. It was either my mother, his father's mother, or my sister. It wasn't too many people that I allowed him to, go with. Looking at these brings back the memories.
I was supposed to go to a birthday party. My mom had to work, and she didn't want me to miss out on the fun, so we went with the babysitting option to take me to the birthday party. Babysitter that we trusted at the time. There was supposed to be a cab taken from where we lived to the party. And for whatever reason, that didn't happen, and the babysitter decided to walk me there. By the time we got where we were supposed to be, there was an altercation. Some men with guns were shooting at each other, and one of them fired in my direction. I was an innocent bystander, and I got hit with a 9mm shell through my back, through my torso, out my hand. I lost a lot of blood.
When she called me, she was screaming. She said, "You have to come to Stapleton now." My first thought was he had an asthma attack. So I said, "What happened? What happened?" She said they were shooting. And I just slammed the phone on her. She had my son's blood all over her. So I just started screaming, like, "What happened? What happened?" I blacked out. They told me that my son had been rushed into surgery. Everybody was crying and praying, and so I went to the chapel along with a reverend who lived in the same building as me, and he began to pray with me. He asked God to show me that he's real, and he asked God to save my son. That was the first time that I knew God was real, because of the feeling that came over me. Amazingly, not long after that, the doctor came out and he said he made it. I knew he had made it before he came. So it was just like such an amazing experience that I haven't really shared with too many people.
I was shot through my back, through my torso, out my hand. It tore through my kidney. The doctors had to remove my kidney. It was completely damaged. I currently only have my right kidney. It tore through my spleen, so I only have part of my spleen. It also went through my spinal fluid, not the actual spinal cord, so there was paralysis from the waist down, and I had to learn how to walk again. I luckily still have mobility in my hand, but at first that had to be regained, so I didn't have any mobility in my left hand, and this is the scar from it. I think death was not something that I, as a 2-year-old, comprehended, and at least not from that specific incident. So I found this interesting. This was on the front page in June of '94, and I got shot in March of '94. Going home, you know what I mean? Like that amount of progress is amazing in a short amount of time. Going from being shot to being able to go home, essentially. I know a lot more work was needed, but I thought that was pretty cool. Because I thought it was like, I didn't think it was years, but as I was, learning and figuring out what happened to me, I thought that the time from when I got shot to the time when I was able to walk again was years.
Oh no, 4 months you were in the hospital.
Life is hard, I'm playing Monopoly. I'ma be king, so kiss on the ring. Popping it like you on a Molly. My only hobby, just listen to Poppy. Life immediately after the shooting was very challenging. There was a lot of physical therapy involved. My mom, I wouldn't say she had to do it alone, but you know, my father was around when he could be, but they were also beginning the tour because they had just dropped the album. And medical bills are expensive, so it's like you gotta do what you gotta do. But we had a lot of love and support from family and the community and strangers and you know people that saw the story in the news at the time and just wanted to be supportive, so we were really appreciative of that. After the incident, life for my mom was challenging and very difficult because being a first-time mom, your newborn baby having gone through this really traumatic experience, it's like, oh my God, your world gets turned upside down. My father, I think he just went harder into his music and his art and just put it in the writing and just got out whatever anger and frustration he needed to let out in his craft, and thus adding to the greatness of the Wu-Tang Clan.
The strong must feed, someone die, someone bleed, one flew astray, and it caught my little seed, can it be?
Penny loaf Christmas, twisting up the news, got a disco till dawn, no time to be confused, see. I'm more Batman than Pac-Man, but I'm also Pac-Man with the backhand. I get an Oscar, you get the trash can. Seed, I am a beast wrapped in a black man. Put up on that thing.
My journey was, I would say, a very physical one, you know, between leg braces and walkers and wheelchairs, lots of physical therapy, medications that did one thing, but the side effects were too great or interfered with my other medical conditions. Now I stretch, I try and do yoga, I'm trying to eat right, but it's still a lot of nerve damage that flares up, a lot of inflammation, and my gait is permanently changed. The way I walk with a slight limp.
Show me how to show them all. You don't gotta panic or get frantic. I'm as cool as the band on that Titanic. If you don't understand.
They are no longer setbacks. I have neurological issues that when it rains or I get sick, I have really bad pains, nerve pains in my legs. It feels like a lightning storm. And sometimes it gets to the point where for hours I'm on the floor and I start hallucinating because of the pain, and you just give out on reality. And that still happens.
My intro was nutmeg one Saturday night. Stay true till we made a stroke of death with the knife.
I have, I guess you could call them bladder issues, and for a huge portion of my life, that was a problem. Just out of embarrassment to seek help. I still have full control, but to go to the urologist and have those conversations and do the checkups and make sure everything is okay, it was important.
Don't deny it, why try to hide it? We've been the kings of Staten before the island.
I definitely think that what happened to me speaks to the temperature and the tensions of the time of Staten Island and New York in general in '94. And there's plenty of other children that, you know, maybe have been victims of gun violence that we don't hear about. Luckily, I happened to survive it. It wasn't rare back then, I would say, for something like that to happen to an innocent person. The earlier years, being in the neighborhood that I was in, it was a little rough, it was a little scary. I remember thinking that fireworks were going on outside, but it was really gunshots.
I became very paranoid. I was like a prisoner in my own home because of the PTSD. Whenever I heard gunshots, I would throw myself on the floor. I would grab Dontae and say, "Get down." Because not only were people getting shot, a lot of people, bullets were coming in their window. So it was like a mission to get out of there as soon as possible.
We are here at 225 Park Hill, the stomping grounds, the birthplace. You already know what it is. Let's go take a look inside. Come on.
What is this?
You know, you God, Wu-Tang? That's my pops. So, what's good? Yeah, I used to live on the 5th floor, so they just come in, you know, seeing the stomping grounds, seeing where I came from, because never forget where you came from. And when the cameras come, you got to show people what you really, you know what I'm saying, what really made you. So, you know what I'm saying? Still got the smell, you know what I'm saying? Like, hear the acoustics? This is the best place. So this is where, like, you know what I'm saying, the true MCs come beatbox, you know what I'm saying, get their freestyling on, you know what I'm saying? So let's go upstairs and check. come back to the old neighborhood, you know, it just fills me with such nostalgia, and it really reminds me where I came from and helps me, you know, reaffirm where I'm going. And it reminds me what I'm really doing this for, you know, to bring back something to the community that made me who I am.
It did take us a little while to get out, but we finally did move to a really nice neighborhood with the cul-de-sac. I felt a lot more secure with Dontae playing outside. I was 20 years old when I became pregnant with Dontae. Of course, it was unexpected. His father and I had only been dating a couple of months. Of course, he wasn't planned. We both were in college at the time. But I always felt like Dontae was meant to be because, you know, I had an abortion before him, and I made a promise to God that the next time, you know, I would have it. When he came in my life, it's like a love that you never know until you have children. So he gave me a new purpose, and he was my everything.
See, I'm popping like Jon Snow, toe deaf, LOL, you wildo, booking.com, booking.yeah, I'll be going hard wherever I go.
We always felt like he was destined to be something great, and that's why God saved him.
I'm the son of a legend, I'm humble, nobody notices. I be moving you motionless, boy, I'm dope when I'm focusing. To follow in my dad's footsteps would be impossible. I am trying to create my own footsteps. I'm an abomination, spawn a garden, Satan, man, my heart is racing, hardest Mason, look how far I made it from my mama's basement, far from patient, just a level-headed degenerate. I am my father's firstborn son. I am the heir to whatever his legacy is as an individual, but a piece of that is the Wu-Tang Clan. And they've been screaming Wu-Tang is for the children, and Wu-Tang is forever.
I ain't put bars to a beat like this in ages. Can't contain me in a cage, so try cages.
I definitely, in the last couple of months, have had moments where I'm like, yo, I'm doing it. Maybe. Asterisk. But I did it? No, I never had that, or I have yet to have that thought. I don't know if I ever will, because I think the journey is really the prize. And now doing all the music stuff, hopefully doing more movie stuff, and then underneath being a dad, life is so much more exciting now. The way I look at it is less of what happened to me and more of what I get to be, what I get to do. Staten Island in a building, you already know, it's your boy.